Yo, this is Fred, the Hammer Williamson, and you're watching the horror show. If you like horror shows, I mean, this is the show to watch. But if you don't like it, go watch something else. But if you like it, watch the horror show. Understand that? Ciao.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
I'm Cecil von Slaughter.
I'm Ruxpin.
I'm Ian Fuego, here
to deliver our spoiler thoughts and just spoiler discussion all around on Jordan Peele's newest venture, Us. His sophomore effort. We just did a full non-spoiler review that was about 42 minutes long. So if you haven't watched that yet, feel free to go back if you want to see our overall thoughts. We're going to go through the movie basically and spoil the whole thing right now and give our thoughts. So let's just start at the beginning. The movie starts off with an origin story that I wasn't anticipating based on the trailers. You see a little girl walking around a Santa Cruz?
Yes.
Santa Cruz carnival.
Never go in there.
And and her father's drunk, trying to play carnival games to win stuff for her.
No, this was done. It was in the 80s.
Right. It's so it's a past. Sorry, guys.
Oh my god, it's a pass! It's a pass! Oh my god, it's a pass! It's a pass!
Yeah, there's not even any Kleenex in
So
there.
it was.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Should we wait?
Go ahead.
No, let's just roll.
Okay, so basically, as he said, there's a little girl going throughout the carnival with her parents. The father's obviously drunk. It's her birthday, and so the father is kind of paying attention. He's more involved with the carnival games and everything else. And there gets to a point where the mother says, "Oh, I have to go to the bathroom."
Mom is very irritated.
Yeah, she's extremely irritated. You can see that. There's no fucking question about it. So the mother, she has to use the restroom. She asks the little girl if she wants to come with. And the little girl's like, no. And he's like, she's fine. The father said, wait, she's fine here. And she's like, I need you to actually watch her. And he's like, I'm watching her.
She even stresses to the child, though. She's like, please stay with your dad.
And
which she doesn't do.
Of course
Wanders
not.
right away.
At a carnival.
Yes, at a carnival, of course, you leave
By
a
the
little
ocean.
child. Yes, with blinking lights and a father that's
Oh my
not
god,
paying
the
attention.
lights don't matter. Move on.
What? I'm just saying because a child's distracted. Okay, anyway, so the kid goes down, little girl goes down, she sees this little fun house, and she goes inside. House of mirrors. She goes inside, and you know she's trying to find. Yeah, she's trying to find her way out. She sees the exits in all the mirrors. She can't find the way out, and then she sees
Jaime.
an
Yes.
exact copy of her, and so that's when.
And the maniacal little smile you see on that girl.
Yes,
like,
and then that's when it kind of.
I thought that was
cuts
very unsettling. But
to the present day.
to be fair, though, the movie technically starts with a big hint about what we're going to later get to, because it has that text where it talks about the underground different subways and tunnels and all that other stuff. That's what the movie actually opens up with, and then we jump to the carnival scene and whatnot, and that's a big hint.
Well, that and a newscast about Hands Across America.
Yeah, which
a thing
also
that happened in like
That
the mid '80s.
lasted for so long.
It did last for so long, and then
Really
they
did.
tried to tie it in at the end, but it didn't make any goddamn sense at all.
Because she was
Except
trying
that-
to make a
They
statement.
tried.
Make a statement. What statement?
I don't know. That's what she said. She
shadow-
said,
It
yeah,
didn't make
they're
sense.
here.
It didn't make sense. That's the
Well,
problem I
well,
had. So anyway, moving on.
We
Can I
flash
spoil
forward to the
something?
present day.
When we get to it. All right, so
But it's
so the
important.
little girl sees a version of herself, and then we cut to the future, present day, where she has a family. It's her as the mom, and she has a husband and 2 kids, and they're going on a vacation, and it's a vacation near Santa Cruz, and the husband is like, let's go to the beach, and she's like, no, I don't want to go to the beach, and she obviously hasn't said why. And so they end up going. The little boy, her little boy, ends up disappearing for a minute, and they end up finding him. But after he's seen a weird dude in a green coat that
Just doing the Jeremiah 11:11.
That was like
Jeremiah 11:11,
Bloody
yeah.
hands.
bloody hands, obviously never
same-
explained.
Well,
like,
it was the same guy that they saw going into the ambulance.
I know, but it was still never explained.
I still feel like he was
Like-
supposed to be the
He was-
crux of
It was the
those
same
floodgates
guy
getting...
that the little girl saw before she went into the House of Mirrors.
Right. And so, anyway,
He was in the ambulance, and he was like, "Oh wait, why? I thought you were dead in the ambulance, and now you're just standing here bleeding."
That was his other version, maybe.
Right.
yeah. So they go to the one with the carving, the one that was standing on the beach at the end was the other version. But so anyway, the family is they go to the beach. The kid disappears. The mom finds him and freaks out. And then that night, They put the kids to bed, and she basically finally opens up to the father and explains that when she was a kid, she got separated from her family, and she saw something that she saw herself. And the husband's like, well, you were a kid, it must not have been that or whatever. And she's like, oh, you don't believe me? So it's that typical beat we've seen in other movies.
You mean you saw yourself in a house of mirrors?
Yeah,
Right.
Exactly. And I'm thinking back to the way
She's
he
like,
positioned
"You don't
himself in
believe
that bed, and that was so funny.
Oh, yeah, trying to sex it up a little bit.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my god. That's
All
so
the women-
last bed.
all the
How hell are they
women,
both gonna
like,
fit in
roll
that
All the
bed?
women were like, oh god. The guys are like, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, how are they both gonna fit in that goddamn bed?
I know,
I
I
was
was
thinking
thinking
the
the
same
same
thing.
So
thing.
Yeah.
small.
She
It's a
had
twin
no
bed.
choice but to climb on top of him.
Yup.
Spoiler.
So
idea.
anyway, the lights go out very briefly. And
Right
then,
after the discussion, it was
right
very
after the discussion,
ironically
yeah.
timed. Yeah.
And then the kid comes in and says there's a family in the driveway. And they're like, no, there's no family in the driveway. And this leads to, again, a bit more comedy where they go down and they see the family holding hands in the driveway like you see in the trailer. And the husband goes out and is like, yo, what's up? You guys need something or whatever? And he goes back in like,
I'm sorry,
I don't know,
in
go
the
ahead and call
widest
the
way. I'm
police.
sorry, he gets out there in the widest way possible.
Yeah, and that's played up because then he gets a bat and
Yeah,
he goes out
afterwards.
and he really blacks it up.
Yeah, he does.
And he's like, yo, we all got a problem out here? And
Everyone was dying.
he's like, we want to get crazy. We can get crazy.
And
wanna get nuts?
everyone, in
Let's
the,
get nuts.
and everyone in the audience was dying.
Because
at that
he
point.
like in
He
mid,
turned it on.
Yeah, in mid sentence he got lower.
Yeah.
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 That
He's
was
like, what?
funny.
Well, he was trying to get a little more intimidating because they weren't budging. They're just
Yeah.
standing
So,
there,
like-
full on stare down.
But at this
mode,
time,
and-
the mother's on the phone calling 911. He's like, you ain't gotta call 911. Really?
Yeah.
Is that necessary? But then by the time he gets back in, they're 14 minutes away. 14
Cops-
minutes? That's not enough time.
By the way,
That's
the
too
cops
long.
never showed
No,
up.
Yeah.
well, because they're busy.
They're all, as we
Oh,
find
that's
out.
right. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Which leads us, after they kind of playfully mess with the family for a little while, and it's not so much even like full on torture. It's really just
No,
like,
they
we get some
invade the home.
exposition.
They invade the home and then they sit them down like you see in the trailer, and they
Yeah.
literally have this face-off. And evil mom essentially explains in her inward Tenacious D singing voice. Yeah. Like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like explains that they are essentially shadow versions of the real people that exist.
She's been
And
waiting for this moment since she first saw her, way back.
exactly.
in that
And she
hollow
tells
mirror.
this whole story like there was a little girl who saw a version of herself and got scared. Then she got married, and then she had kids, and like so did I, and all this stuff because I didn't have a choice. And so it turns out that they like live in this in the dark, as it were, and it's explained towards the end, which we'll get to. But they didn't have the life that real people have, and so they were waiting for their moment to attack, essentially. And so that's when we kind of realize that, well, they fight and they end up escaping, right? And so they make it to their annoying white friend's house, and that's where it's revealed.
Can I
where
do my
they-
spoiler?
Yeah.
The white people die first, y'all.
Yeah. Opposite of what you normally see.
We
'cause
still
you know
could
how
have
the
built up
cliche-
to it considering we just got to the house, but okay.
Okay.
Well, I didn't
Jesus.
explain like.
You just wanted to unload that
Yeah,
spoiler.
I mean,
Yeah.
well,
You
then,
were
Jesus,
about to
literally
talk about it.
Yeah, so why not get there
All
organically?
right, so
but
let's
okay.
get...
Because
Good
you would
Lord.
spoil it, and I wanted to
Get
spoil
out.
So anyway, they escape and go to their white friend's house, and just before they arrive, the white friends are actually attacked by duplicates as well.
Yeah.
And that's where we're just like, oh, this is way bigger than we actually initially realized,
Yes.
because you're led to believe by the trailers that it's just them with
Just
an
their
identical
family, yeah.
family.
it.
But
And even
then
at
you're
that
like,
point, you thought maybe, because of the mom, it's just about her.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it felt very small at first, and from the trailer it felt very small, but this is where it broadens up.
that was
So the
biggest
white family
reveal
has
that
duplicates,
impressed
and it turns out that everyone, it seems, has duplicates. Even though they tried to say it was something that was only happening in this area and it was just that one bunker, the amount of people lined up at the end contradicted that. So
especially the
that's
aerial
one of the
shot
plot
that they
holes that I had
showed.
issues
Yeah,
with.
yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, that's the thing. They escape, and it turns out that everyone has a duplicate that has now emerged and has laying waste to a lot of the town that they're in. They don't really mention whether it's worldwide or not, but they allude to it in the last shot. But still, that's the thing. Once they break away and fight for their lives from the white duplicates, they go into town and there's just bodies everywhere. It's like almost a post-apocalyptic scenario.
It pretty much is.
It was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Who wants to jump in with something else?
I'm listening. I'm very intrigued. I was there.
Well, I mean, these spoilers, were any of these spoilers surprising to you or affected you in any particular way?
See, that's what I was saying. Like, I knew the overall ending of what was going to happen, but the in-between stuff was still interesting, even though I knew what was going to happen.
Okay.
So, I'm just listening, you know.
Okay.
I'm just, you know, I don't got
Marsha, anything else you wanted to spoil?
I mean, if you can spoil the ending.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
When we get to it. But no, I mean, at this point, the only thing that I thought was interesting was how people were taking out, like we were talking about the neighbor, the family friends, they were taken out really quickly. And you weren't really expecting it. You kind of got caught off guard because first you had to process, oh wait, they have people, and oh shit, they're really good and effective. But at the same time, like the way they interacted in that coming out of the kids coming out of the shells and being able to like defend themselves and defend their family, I thought that was really cool. And I thought that the overall like telling of like this is bigger than just us was pretty good.
I thought it was hilarious where they were comparing body counts. I've killed the most, so
that was one of the moments that pulled me out of it, though. I'm like, no one would do this.
Are you
They're
kidding?
literally driving away for their lives, and they're comparing who killed more people.
That was the one thing that bothered me.
felt
She's all like, get
so
out of the car.
unreal.
Like, bitch, get in the car. Let's go.
Oh, that was one of the moments that I was like,
and
no.
then she kept getting out of the car. Why are you keep getting out of the car?
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Like, come on.
Double tap, make sure they're dead.
There's times that you don't double tap.
But there were some really cool moments, like some of the demises that we got.
Yeah.
Specifically, I think the evil daughter had a really cool demise.
Yeah.
Because she attacks
Which
them
one?
in the car.
Oh, okay.
And,
I thought you were talking about the white people.
And starts stabbing. Well, I would have said evil twin if that was the case.
Nah.
So she stabs through the window as they're driving, and the girl who's driving, because the dad's got a fucked up leg and the mom's messed up.
Handcuffed.
And
She's
handcuffed.
Yeah.
And so she basically speeds up and then stops the car suddenly, and the little girl goes flying off into the woods. And this led to actually one of the weirdly almost emotional, creepy moments where the mom goes out to try and make sure that she's done, and she finds her sort of in a tree, and then the camera angle slowly backs out and reveals that she's actually been folded in half against a branch from the impact, but she's still like reaching out trying to get the mom until she just can't do it anymore.
It wasn't until I saw the leg that I realized what had happened, and I was just like, oh, I think I even leaned over to you, and I was like, oh, damn.
Yeah, because that's the thing. It was one of those, people realized it a little late that, oh, she's folded backwards in half. So I thought that was really neat.
Because it was kind of dark. I think that was...
Did you notice the legs?
Yeah, I noticed it, but it was late too because because it was so dark.
Yeah, it was purposeful.
That's a scene that plays a lot more emotionally when you think about the context of the final twist too.
Well, and I love the kid's demise too, because that was the little boy in the mask ended up mirroring the main kid, and so the you see this in the trailer when the kid walks backwards into the fire. It's because the main kid like forces him to mirror it, and like when it started to happen, I was like, oh damn, he's gonna walk that kid back into the fire. That's dope. Like there was a lot of really interesting weird choices that paid off, but ultimately the story just didn't justify itself to me. So not
enough explanation, obviously, right?
Yeah, so
he was caring for this weird underground system of people and everything.
That's
was it government related? Was it? I mean, and I guess maybe some people don't need that sort of explanation,
Well, so
it
turns out there was some sort of organization that started to clone people, essentially make duplicates of people and keep them underground, but with limited brain functionality. I don't know. It was weird as to there was no real explanation as to why
They didn't have a
like
soul.
function. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were born.
They
They
were
were
all-
duplicated, but they didn't have a soul.
They were all
And the
test-
movie
test
starts
They
with
had
a
to
slow
share the
drawback
soul.
on rabbits because you know
They're
the
all
whole.
test bunnies.
They're
basically.
test bunnies, and they've been duplicated. That's how they're feeding all of the people down there, and so it's just kind of weird. And
Yeah, I agree. I would have appreciated the backstory.
yeah, that's the thing. The
Right.
backstory we got just
Like,
wasn't
why
enough.
did you even bother duplicating people to begin with?
So it turns
Was
out
it
there's
for
this whole underground
slavery?
bunker
Was
full
it
of these
for-
people, and they made it look like the bunker went on for a while, which clearly it did with the last shot. But then it turns out that I'm trying to remember exactly how to get to the ending. I mean, they
she
She
reveal.
kidnaps the kid.
Oh, that's okay.
She
Please go ahead.
kidnaps the son. Yeah, and so after the whole duplicate boy has walked into the fire, the duplicate mom steals the son and basically goes back into that
The
hall
funhouse.
of mirrors. And so everybody knew, you're like, okay, she has to go back in there. That's where she's going to confront her, and that's where they pull the curtain completely back. They had been tugging at it, and that's where they gave the full reveal as to the sheer scope of all the people down there. Don't really explain how they got out
No.
exactly, but yeah, and it turns into
They fight.
Yeah, there's quite the confrontation, and that was the scene Susie liked so much.
Yeah,
actually.
I love that scene. Like, it was so intense. Like,
And they were flashing back to her dancing.
yeah, that's
and the
what
acting
I
of
loved.
movement.
Oh
That's
my
what I
gosh,
was
that's what I
referring
loved
to.
about that so much. And then I got 5 on it, orchestral style.
Yeah.
Like, how could you not?
Boom, boom.
But I think it was really, really beautifully done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought it was very intense how she, the real mom was, she's horribly, horribly, like, injured, and she's just trying to get her, and the shadow mom, she just so, like, whimsically just, like, moves like it's
No,
nothing.
yeah, where she was
and
trying to hit her with
and like
fire
with each
poker,
like
and
freaking
she's just,
stab, it's like
like, moving
nothing, and it was so
and moving.
intense, and I loved that scene. It was
Well,
it was
and
done
one of
very
the things
well.
we should
and then she was
mention.
just shanking her with the scissors.
One of the
Yeah.
things we should mention is it does occasionally go back and flash back to after the little girl had gotten lost. And it shows the drunk father and the mother upset that she was missing for like 15
And
minutes.
she's
She talks
obviously
about
And,
the
and,
story.
and they
scarred.
talk about how she's not talking. And the mom even says, I want my little girl back. And apparently she goes a long period of time without talking. And so
There's a reason.
Yeah, the reason that's revealed is
Mile
once
away.
they actually escape, and once again, Jordan Peele likes to make his characters live, just like in Get Out. Everyone you care about actually lives at the end of this, so the whole family lives. But as they're driving away, the mom sort of looks over at the kid who looks back at her, and I think he kind of knows.
Oh yeah, he's giving
Totally
that.
knows.
Yeah,
he
and
knew
so
back in the bunker.
it turns out the thing that they apparently saw coming, which I did not see coming until it was happening, I was like, "Oh, it's that."
I kept
You
saying
didn't realize until
I
then?
didn't. I just didn't think about
I
it.
Well,
just kept
because
saying
like
to myself, "Don't
during
do
the
it."
battle at the end, and
Where
then
she
and it
started
happened.
acting.
Well, it happened
When she
throughout
was, like,
the
grunting a
movie.
little bit.
Like when she would, every time she would kill, she would get
Start
this like
grunting.
animal
Yeah.
like grunting, and then
Reverting.
when she snapped her neck, it was like really obvious. at
Yeah.
that point.
It still,
Yeah.
it still didn't
And
occur
then
to me. So.
when she saw the sun, she's like she switched gears again,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
felt like I saw that.
Yeah.
You know.
I just kept saying to myself, "Don't make it the switcheroo. Don't do exactly what I think you're gonna do. Don't do okay."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they-
So it
they-
turns
they tell
out,
you,
it
like,
turns out
they
that
watch
the
you.
even though they cut away from it at the beginning of the movie, the little girl, the duplicate little girl, strangles her and knocks her out, and then pulls her into her world and takes the shirt and takes over her position.
Yeah,
So
handcuffs her to
And
the
handcuffs
bed.
her.
and
The
handcuffs
same
her. Yep.
handcuffs.
Yeah.
And so the main
More significance to the handcuff.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. Oh.
so the main mom that was
That's why she
the main
handcuffed
character in the whole
Yeah,
movie
got
was
it.
actually
Got it now.
the
Got
evil
it.
version
Just
the
clear.
entire time.
Yeah.
But she's just
Well.
and it's not evil so much as she created a life for herself,
Yeah.
and that's all they ever wanted. So that was the Shyamalan twist that I didn't see coming that they did. But once it happened, I was like, oh yeah, okay. But
Straight up
but
changed
it's still
them pretty
I
much.
still think it was effective as a result. I mean,
Yeah.
ultimately, I did enjoy the movie. I
did
think
too.
there were story problems.
Yeah.
I think they didn't explain the Hands Across America because that was something that happened. They showed the Hands Across America campaign commercial from 1986, and then because she was the one that was trapped in that other world, or in the bunker the whole time. That's why all of the people that came out in red started doing the Hands Across America, because she had just seen it in a commercial. But that didn't make sense to me. Why did they still do it? Like, why? Because she saw it in a commercial. What statement? What's the statement?
I don't know.
Feed the shadow. Feed your shadow.
Yeah.
So
maybe
stupid.
they just
Something other than
That's what didn't make sense. That's where it fell apart for me.
Maybe she had to mobilize all of the shadow people with
To
that
get out.
aspect of unity. Or
It still
something.
fell apart
I
for
don't
me.
know.
That's
What
where it
I
fell
want,
apart.
what the part that I thought was the most hilarious though, when they were telling, like, they were showing how the shadow people mirrored the people up top, and you just see people on the carnival, like, doing this.
Oh,
Yeah,
in
and
the
there's
room.
people in a line going, like going down a roller coaster. That didn't work for me.
No, like, that was bad. And then I'm
Yeah.
sitting here thinking about, like, yeah, you have all these tunnels, but what happens if they get a car? What are they gonna do if their person they're tethered with gets in a car and they drive across country? What about a plane?
They drive until they hit the wall, and then they just stand there like this
Yeah.
Well,
until they get to the destination.
There's an essence of check your brain in at the door, obviously. You know.
That's
That
what I'm.
part
But
was
I think there were more
definitely-
holes in this one than
Yeah.
there were in Get Out by a
Yeah.
long shot.
It was like,
So
oh,
that was a problem I had.
kind of figure something out.
So.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool with its concept, but once again, the execution of these big ideas.
It would have made much more sense if it was an alternate reality that she came out of. That would they could solve the problem.
Yeah.
So I mean, the long and short of it is,
Yeah.
liked it
Mirror people.
less than Get Out, liked it less than Get Out, liked it more than Get Out, liked it less than Get Out.
But still liked it.
So, take that for what you want, you guys. If you watched this before seeing the movie, congratulations, you ruined the M. Night Shyamalan twist, but
You know everything.
that
And
is
all
what
the
it is. You decide if you want to go see it still, nonetheless. I think it is worth seeing. I don't know that it's necessarily worth seeing in the theater, though, to be honest with you. If it wasn't Jordan Peele, and he's gonna succeed no matter what. The dude is talented.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I don't know if this is worth a full nighttime, two people on a date, $75 jaunt. You know what I mean?
wouldn't
Yeah.
have done it.
Yeah, it's not as so. It's
Not like Get Out was.
It's definitely not worth
I
waiting
didn't do it
7
for Get
hours
Out,
in
so.
line for.
Get Out would have been worth it, especially as a date movie. That would have been real fun.
I would
Much
have
more
been
socially
upset.
relevant, but definitely not worth
waste
waiting
that.
7 hours in line for.
Nonetheless, let's go ahead and call it there, you guys. Why don't you let us know in the comments down below if you've seen it. What did you think of all the spoilers we mentioned? Is there anything that pissed you off? If you haven't seen it yet, what did you think of the spoilers we mentioned? Is there anything that pissed you off?
You still want to see
Let
it.
us know in the comments down below. Until next time, I've been Cecil Laird.
I'm Cecil von Slaughter.
Oh, Birchburger!
Gracias, I'm Jamin Fuego.
And remember,
Stay
stay scared.
Scared.